Well, it's 5:02.
It says 5:30 here on the agenda, but you said 5.
I did say 5. It's 5.
Are we okay then? Starting?
Yeah, it's warned for 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Then let's call the Board of Civil Authority.
Can you check if anyone's logged in?
Yeah, there wasn't anybody on.
We'll call the Board of Civil Authority.
Don't you don't have to admit them? Don't you?
Yeah,
right?
hold on. There's 3 participants,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think
yeah.
one of them is just the that's just me.
On the right there. There you go.
Okay.
Matthew.
Allowed to talk.
Yeah.
Ooh. So Matthew, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, and Matthew, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Okay,
you-
great. And you can see us
Wonderful.
too?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, great. It's 5:03. We will call the South Burlington Board of Civil Authority meeting to order for August 3rd, 2026. It's a Monday. Welcome, everybody. Need instructions on exiting the building in case of emergency for those of us here in the room on the 3rd floor.
Yep, so we're on the 3rd floor. Should there be an emergency, all elevator access will be stopped. So we're gonna go out this door, go to the right, walk down the stairs, and then reconvene outside. If anybody has mobility concerns and they need an area of refuge for somebody to come get them, then you can stand right outside the elevator.
Thank you. We have minutes from February 21st of this year and May 14th of this year. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Michael. Any discussion, corrections to the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, I'll ask for a vote on these 2 minutes. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining, please speak up. All right, thank you. Let's turn to reviewing the election master schedule for August 11th.
Yep, so I just want to take a second to introduce Sally. So Sally Higley is a assistant clerk down in our office and has been doing a ton of work doing scheduling for election workers, doing election worker training videos. So I wanted to welcome her to the table so everyone had a face. I'm sure you recognize her if you got to work with her at Tuttle last time. She'll be there again this time. And so I just wanted to review the BCA portion of the schedule and then also the election worker schedule just to give a kind of sense of what's happening. I unfortunately did hear from Bert Munger that he was in a car accident, a motorcycle accident. He's okay. He couldn't be here tonight. He thinks he'll probably be okay. You know, to support anything, but I'm just, you know, given that heads up. That we may need to backfill a little at Chamberlain, but he's gonna let me know that.
Do we have a floating?
I don't have a floating BCA member.
You told me I was going to be here.
You're gonna be the floater
You told me that.
if we needed you.
Yes.
Yes, so we might need you, Mike. But don't you have company?
No, he's leaving.
Okay.
I'll throw him out of the house.
So if you wanna just tentatively block that, and how about we'll touch base maybe by Thursday? Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Hi, Tim. So I just want everyone to just take a look and make sure that they are scheduled for the spot and time that they thought they were going to be scheduled for. And that I've got Chris and Tim and Matthew and Donna and Lynn, who I know couldn't be here tonight, as the presiding.
Thank you for getting a lot of counters at night.
Yeah, trying.
No, that's a good amount. That's good.
Especially with the number of ballots that is
That's what I was-
floating around.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So any questions on the BCA schedule?
Why am I on for the whole? Oh, okay.
Because I lure you with food. Right? That's part of the deal.
Your urologist gave you the okay.
Gave her the okay.
Any questions before we just take a look at the other election worker schedule? You can just flip the page. So we made the decision to do a check-in for the, I'm gonna say yellow, because in our world, that's what it is. The yellow local ballot or city ballot, and a check-in for the primary, because in our office, we have spent more time explaining the primary than anybody could ever imagine, and just really confusing. And we've had some people that want nothing to do with the primary and only want to do the local, and vice versa. So everything is color coded yellow. The ballot is yellow for the local. It's going to be hand counted, not going through the tabulator. It's a yes or no question. We have verified, those reports that we get of everything that's already come in and been verified and bundled that we traditionally would then open and put through the tabulator or put in the ballot box, or sometimes we would do pre-processing. If it's local, it'll be covered with a yellow local one and say local. If it's the primary, it'll be covered with a white kind of verification sheet and say primary. So you'll see a lot of people. It kind of feels like a lot of people on the list, but I think that we'll maybe not have that many people. My thought would be that we maybe don't pre-process, and we can go over where we are with ballots right now, but that we take advantage of kind of having some of those extra people and have them open the ballots, put them in the ballot box, or open the ballots, put them into the tabulator. Anything that's coming from us that's already verified for the primary is not going to come with the 2 extra ballots, the unvoteds. It'll just be the verified 1 ballot. So then you'll have an extra ballot box. So the thinking is, okay, you check in, you get your yellow local, and then you get your primaries. Then you go to the voting station, you vote, and then there'll be like a yellow brick road. The first stop is going to be vote your yellow primary here. It'll just be one of those, hi Ann, black boxes that you just put it in. And then you'll move on to the unvoted, and you'll drop off your 2 unvoted, and then you'll drop your voting primary into the tabulator, or you'll run it through.
Which is why we have 2 ballot box assistants. So it'll be somebody stationed at the local ballot box and somebody stationed by the unvoted in the tabulator. So there is.
Nobody puts the yellow in the local, and
Exactly.
nobody puts the yellow in the other.
In the tabulator, and it will throw an error. So the tabulator
Well, to
will
keep the
throw an
whites out of the
they
yellow
try to
box.
put it-
Yeah, it's
Yes.
more keep the whites out of the yellow box.
Exactly.
The yellow's 8.5 by 11 straight regular paper.
Regular paper.
not
Yeah.
cardstock.
They're not cardstock. They're a little bit heavier than just normal copy paper, but not much. Just to give them a little weight, but they're not cardstock. It's really obvious.
So
Yeah,
how do you, when someone first walks up to check in, how are you gonna have that laid out?
I think we're gonna do local ballot. Check in, yellow books, and then next to it will be primary. So you'll have 2 different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll tell them,
Yep.
local here, if you want primary, go
Yep.
next.
Yep, and we're working on some signage outside, just to kind of prep people before they come in as a reminder, because some people that are coming in to vote are like, what's going on? Well, there's 2 ballots, or we've gotten a lot of calls that people that have elected like the whole year of ballots to, be mailed. They're calling, they're like, there's voter fraud, I have 2 ballots. I was like, do you have a ballot that says yellow, like a yellow address label, and has a sticky that says local? Yep. I'm like, okay. And what does your other one look like? It has my name and it says primary. I'm like, one of them is your primary and one of them is your local. Oh, okay. So it's not an error. Nope, it's not an error. So there's just been a lot of
We've had people
confusion.
return everything all in one envelope. We've had people try to put all of their unvoted ballots and their voted ballot in one envelope. So it's just it's very important to explain everything to
What do you
them.
do when you get that? You call them or you fix it?
You put it into the system that you've received it as a defective ballot,
Oh,
and then you have to either email them, call them, or send them a mailer.
oh.
We like to call whenever we can.
Yeah. And have people been responsive? Do they fix it?
Yep,
Yes.
so a gentleman came in today to fix both. He hadn't signed 2 ballots. And so he's super thrilled, but we've had other people that say, it's just not even worth my time to come back in.
I do.
I don't want to do anything with it. And I was like, it's gonna remain defective, just so you know, it will go to the polls just in case they decide to come and cure it. And then it'll get part of that count at the end because it won't go through the
How many
tabulator.
ballots will like that? You have to
We
send
have
them.
about 15 right now.
You can see if Judy's will come over, and give us coupons for people to come in.
Not you, but not.
Right. Yeah.
Is anyone in the front desk gonna remind people to look at the back of the ballot?
So, right, only one has a backside, only the Democratic Party has a backside.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, but
We'll have signage, but we'll, try to
Yeah,
remind
yeah,
people
I didn't-
too. Even when I was doing the test decks, I went through and then I was like, oh, yep, go through and do that one question.
Back of the ballot.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a lot of reminders.
The desk people have to do 4 counts at the end of the night. Is that right?
I
no.
mean.
Well, you have 4
No,
people
you-
checking in, which is.
You don't have to do 4 counts. You're just doing one
One for the
for
city,
the local and then one for the
one
primary.
total for the primaries, not one for each party.
Correct,
Okay.
because we don't track the party,
Okay.
so we're just gonna give. all
Well,
three
yes
of
and
them.
no.
It's still.
It still prints out that way. Yes, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I mean,
they're
it's
gonna have to tell
one
us.
election, but yes, you'll have the Dems and then you'll have,
5 progressive.
yep.
For the whole.
Well, you will see, because you'll know who voted which ballot, right? So
Well, we won't know, but you'll see how many were voted.
Yeah.
You'll see, exactly what Tim is saying. Oh, 200 people voted the progressive ballot.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
1,000 people voted
It'll be
the
known.
Democratic, yeah. But not who.
Right.
But the counts at the front, they're still only gonna have 2 numbers.
Just 2 numbers.
They're gonna have a number
The
for the
total.
primary, the total, and then the total.
Right, 'cause they will know who voted which ballot.
Correct. Yeah. So, any questions about that?
It's too bad that 15 people were so confused, honestly.
One more question.
To figure out how to make it was complicated, but the instructions were clear, although I had to help my wife with it. I mean, she was like, what are these ballots? What do I do with these? Like, it was complicated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
It is complicated. Well, and the Secretary of State's even more complicated because the pre-printed envelope is instructions for if you're mailing at home. But you still need that signature envelope for people that are voting in the office. So we've had a lot of people that we explain the process, give them all 3 ballots. They come back and they're like, well, I put them all in there because it said to put them all in there. It's like, so you're gonna open that up. I'm not gonna look, you're gonna take tape and you're gonna retape it, so.
We have had a lot of taped ballots come back to us too, because they're like, oh, I messed up.
Like, why couldn't it be just one ballot and they just fill out one section? Like, you have to only fill out one section.
Well, you can talk to the Secretary of State.
Ah.
They wanna run their elections.
Confidentiality on one.
Donnie, you
Yeah.
had a question?
Yeah, so we talked at that training about now if someone doesn't declare a
Yes.
write-in, is that coming later?
We could talk about it now.
We can talk about it now. We have another training with the Secretary of State's office Wednesday during office hours from 12 to 1 because there's a ton of confusion about it.
Okay.
The write-ins that you have to declare by Thursday.
So now if, say someone writes your name in on a bunch of ballots,
Yeah.
you don't declare, we don't have to look for it.
Yes,
Oh. Okay,
So
okay.
my question kind of was,
Yeah, right.
so we'll pick Douglas. So if someone votes him on the Republican, but I'm doing the Democrat, and so someone doesn't write in on the Democratic ballot,
you have
does
to
he have to
count it.
declare that he wants to be counted on the
Yeah.
Democratic ballot or not?
No,
But do
I
we
think the
care?
answer was,
As long as it's on the ballot?
you're not running. If you're a write-in, you're not running for a party, so you're any ballot, if that makes sense. So we'd be looking for that name
Really?
So just do this.
for write-ins.
Right, but
They're writing in to join one of the
Party.
parties.
so I've seen where they've had like Jim Condo's, where it was always DNR. He always had the Democratic and Republican bid, so that was always listed as Democratic Republican on the November ballot. 'Cause
Well,
he
I
won
think I
both.
can't, I mean, if there's no one, if the party has no candidate after the election, the local party can nominate someone, right? Or did
Yes.
that change?
No, that is still the process.
Okay, so that's how Jim and a lot of people get it for November.
There was a very helpful flow chart in the BCA book from the Secretary of State that explained the changes that I think will be helpful for all of us, and it should be in our binders on the day of, so we can cross
It'll
that bridge.
definitely
when we
be in
get
the
there.
binders, Matthew, for sure. I think that's exactly what they want to go over again in office hours on Wednesday, because I think it was, you know, a very small part of a bigger conversation when we all had those trainings, and I think people are now even more confused. So more to come on that, but we'll have really specific details on what to look for.
The worst case, if we just keep track of the write-in names, except for Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd, we can just say blank or whatever, or not.
The obvious fake ones,
Yeah.
yep.
If we just keep track of them, it's up to you then to not, take.
Do not report them.
Mhm.
Yeah, yep. Yep.
I think that's fine too. I think it's fine to go more than less. Yeah, totally fine.
What is this page? Did I miss this?
We
Nope.
haven't gotten there.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We're trying to get there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Any other questions about scheduling before we move on to then the election worker list and approval? Okay. Oh, sorry, Chris, that's you. I don't want to move
Oh,
the meeting
no.
along.
Let's move on to the page that was referred
again?
A week from tomorrow.
Kidding me?
Mhm.
already.
It's unbelievable.
So we're gonna move on to item 5, approve the list of election workers for the club. And that is on page.
Well,
End of your document.
Yeah.
It looks like it's
Color coded, but not.
Mhm.
not in the black and white.
In alphabetical order this time though.
Starts with Ellie Legrand Rindo.
Yes, so this is everybody that is on the list plus extras. As you see, standbys. And we're well staffed, so I don't
This is great.
feel like we're
There's like a lot of people.
needing.
That's awesome.
Mhm. There's actually only one standby on this list right now.
Oh, you've
So-
scheduled?
I've scheduled everybody else.
We need a motion. I
Yes,
Move
I would
to
go.
accept the assistant election officials as presented.
Thank you, Donna.
Second.
Go with Tim. Thank you, Tim. Any discussion? I'll take a vote on this. All those in favor, please say aye. Raise your hand.
I
Anyone opposed or abstaining, please speak up.
I'm abstaining. Wasn't here.
Oh, thank you.
Letter started at 5:30.
Linda Bailey has just
On the
arrived.
agenda, I don't know why that up there.
That's why I. You know, scheduled to be.
All right, we're gonna move on to item 6,
Yeah,
confirm rate of pay for presiding officers and election workers.
yep,
And we
so.
double the pay?
Yeah, well, so to have a discussion of what the understanding of the presiding officer and what their rate is, and then the rate for election workers, as the minimum wage is $14.14. So just what everybody wants to do.
Didn't we do it like, because the new minimum wage is gonna keep changing, didn't we do something like $1.50 or some money amount over minimum wage? So we wouldn't have to keep going back and asking this question.
I thought we settled around $15.
It is at $15.
Right. And
So
so
the
that
minimum
might,
wage is now $14.14, so that's why I'm asking.
well, I'm just saying it gets us by this election and the next one probably, correct? But you're hoping that we can say, oh, it's worth,
It's total, I'm just bringing it as a conversation point, so I know how
and
much
is
I
that
should
for
be
both
paying
the
people.
presiding officers and election workers?
Well, I think the presiding officer rate is different than the election worker rate. So what differential you want that to look like, I don't know, and maybe it's key the way it is.
Wasn't that minimum wage plus 5? Or was it?
I didn't ever see a minimum wage plus
We did something,
5.
we did whatever the minimum wage was plus.
At that time? At that time.
That's what
Well,
I
no,
saw
it's
as,
just we made that saying, okay,
Yeah.
this is what it is, but then, because we knew we were gonna have to keep going over this again and again.
Yeah.
That we just, okay, minimum wage plus blank for,
I think it was 5.
minimum wage plus 5 for presiding officer.
Yeah, that's what I think, but we'll have to go back and check. Somebody will.
we can make any motion and override it, I mean, so it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I'll just leave it.
I didn't ever see that in minutes. I looked and I saw rates, but I didn't see a
Yeah.
like minimum wage plus whatever, so it may be in there, but I would love for there to be a motion just so it's fresh. So I know.
What was it last time?
Was it
It's been
17?
15 straight since I've started.
For everybody, presiding officer and election.
No.
No, presiding
Just presiding
officer.
officer.
It was 15 straight.
Mhm.
Oh. Could the minimum wage have been $10?
It was 11.15, I think.
Or maybe we just said 15.
I mean, the idea between doing presiding officer versus an election official is just the fact that there's added responsibility of being a presiding officer.
Agreed.
So it's just a matter of,
I think having the floating approach of, minimum wage +5 is pretty good. And,
Okay.
I think if that's the state minimum wage and it's 14.14 right now.
It's something like that. I'd check again, but
Does that sound okay to everybody? Because that way, as a precedent, we can track as the state moves the minimum wage forward.
Right.
Without having to rediscuss it each time.
I mean, in 50 years, you might want to raise that $5 to like $10. It's like gasoline.
you can
right?
make that move.
Save a dime on your gasoline on $12 a
A
gallon.
total stall on it and ratchet it to the federal minimum wage and then nothing will happen.
So maybe a motion to that effect, just so I have it.
What's that?
most office should be a motion. Probably,
I
can't
would
hurt.
think so. Somebody want to make a motion?
So how do you want it phrased? A minimum, presiding officers minimum wage +$5 and the election workers $15?
Minimum wage,
Minimum wage.
set by the state.
Yeah.
As set by the state. I'm sorry.
So the state minimum wage. So you're making a motion, Mike, for?
If that's the favorite phraseology, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
So it's gonna be, the election workers get the state minimum wage. And the presiding officers get the state minimum wage +$5.
Got
Correct? Okay, thank you, Mike. Second?
Second.
Who did that? Andrew? Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining, please speak up. Matthew? You're all right? I didn't hear an aye.
Sorry, I vote aye.
Okay, can I get your bank routing number, please? While you're on. All right, we're gonna move on to number 7, agenda item, reviewing policies. We'll start with 7A, the poll watcher. We have a memo here in your packet, poll watchers.
So these are just things that I was like, well, you know what? We probably should review some of these sometimes. So I threw a couple of them on. The poll watcher has been updated a couple of times. So I wanted to make sure that we just had an opportunity to look at it and see if there was anything that needed to be changed. Certainly, Donna, you have a wealth of experience. I've never had a poll watch.
I've never seen a poll watch.
We've had some in the past, and it can get pretty.
Aggressive.
Contentious.
They just show up in the morning and
Contentious is a
say,
good word.
poll watcher?
They want to come close.
So, and
But I mean, people just show up maybe.
Well, they identify themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm saying, but
Give them their spot.
we're not organizing.
Some
Some
of
don't
them-
come and say, I want to watch.
And then they start to create their own issues.
I wouldn't think that we would only see anything in this election, but maybe November, but
The poll watchers.
maybe the next general
Poll watchers
election,
with
so.
guns and badges,
Yeah.
masks.
Mhm.
but the biggest thing is that they stay outside of
No badges.
the check-in table. Yeah, outside the building, no, outside the check-in table. They can't interfere with the check-in table. If they have any complaints, they see the presiding officer, normally the presiding officer, they shouldn't have conversations with the front desk.
Did you ever did you ever like put a chair or put a thing on the wall or like
I
an
used to-
identifying spot?
I used to put the sign-in sheet like up on the wall. And then maybe put a chair, and if I had enough time, I'd just tape like a little box around, saying
Okay.
this is kind of your area kind of thing, but that's something we can even do if someone shows up.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just have supplies for that should someone show up.
So they don't have to check in with the presiding officer. They can just sign
Put
it.
their name on the list, have a seat, watch from here.
And
And then I would assume the presiding officer would go over and say, hey, what's going on? How are ya?
right, and the part that I'm having a challenge with is we say, have them sign the poll watcher sign-in sheet, but there's no other form of identification. They don't have to tell us who they're here for, although it says at the
No.
top
No.
is, each organized political party, each candidate that's not affiliated with an organized party, and each committee supporting or opposing a public question shall have the right to have not more than 2 representatives known as poll watchers observe. So they have to at least identify
The
which
party
issue,
or
which
issue.
candidate they are there on behalf of. And if they can just tell you, my name is John Smith, and we're okay with that.
So the sign sheet should really then have all that. I mean, theoretically.
I haven't seen one of those signage.
It's on the back page.
That's right.
Well,
As a
usually we
swap
put
for
this
party
up next to
affiliation.
it and then this sign-in sheet next, these two
Yeah, side by
pages would be on the.
Okay.
So it's just party affiliation, print name, and then, no, that you're agreeing to what posted.
Okay. So we don't need any other,
I just wanted to review it and see if anything needed to change or we need to update it. I mean, obviously, this is a
Update
sample
To
from
include
a
the
while ago.
other information, right? It seems relevant because you can't have more than 2. So how do you know?
well, yes, but yeah, if you're representing a party, then only 2 people can sign their name on to the party. If you're representing a candidate, you can sign more people on. So, you know, in effect, you can have a multiple copies of poll watchers because you can have, I'm here for the Democratic Party, I'm here for the Democratic Party, I'm here for Amanda Janeau, I'm here for Amanda Janeau, I'm here for Ally Richards, I'm here for Ally
You
Richards.
could have 100 people there.
Right.
It'll get.
I don't think we will.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think either.
I don't think so either.
Maybe it's not worth it, but.
But just reviewing the process and policy, should we have some?
Okay. Any further questions on poll 1?
And did I hear you correctly? That the policy, since they have to signature that they're agreeing to, that the policy will be.
Will be posted. Yep.
All right, let's go to 7B, ice at the polls.
Yep. So this was something that was posted at the last election that the Secretary of State's office put forward. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware it'll be posted again on the blue boards, and certainly also a duplicate in the BCA binder. We've gotten a lot of, well, not a lot, we've gotten several calls. One consistent person who has probably spent 3 or 4 staff hours ensuring that I basically will die before I let anybody take the ballots.
And I will too.
And I have said, the process is, should somebody come to take the ballots, should a federal agent show up at the elections, which they are not allowed to, the process and procedure for us will be to call the state police, to
Well,
call the
not-
Secretary of State's office, to call the local police, and to call the attorney.
Yeah.
And
Which
well,
attorney?
you will call me so I can come over. And just, you know, and then we'll sort it out from there. But if there are federal agents at the elections, they're not allowed to be. So that's the first call. Whether or not somebody is going to, you know, have a warrant to take ballots, that would take some time. And so I would think that the election would be secured by the time such a warrant would be issued, but
So they're not allowed in the gymnasium, but they're allowed in the house.
they're not allowed in the foyer. They're not allowed at the election site.
Are they
No more
allowed
than
in the street
three
in
political
front of tunnel?
candidates.
Are they allowed on the sidewalk?
They wouldn't be allowed on the side. They can't impede any voting
Okay.
or threaten
Yeah,
any
yeah.
voting.
They are allowed to
That
be on the,
means-
down the street from the polling place,
But not
but
the
not
polling
at the
place.
polling place.
So we,
No.
Parking lot,
Public.
it is public, so parking lot,
so,
they can be.
Okay.
But they just can't interfere or, you know,
You can define it as the political zone that we mark out for
Yeah.
politicking right to the entry to the polling place.
exactly.
And the fact that we limit even political zone to signs across the street
Exactly.
from here. And, you know, depends on how obtrusive their presence is, you know? So,
Is there gonna be a sheet in with all those 4 phone numbers, just so that we can look really quick? We don't have to be, not the Google search.
a hot button,
Yep, we will put that together.
speed dial.
any
Good
further
idea.
questions
Smith?
on 7B, ice at the poll?
Okay.
Let's move on to 7C, press at the polls.
So press at the polls, you know, press is fine to come. Just making sure that they also are staying beyond that barrier and that they're not doing any filming of people getting close enough that they could zoom in and see what people are voting for. But it is a public process, so they can be in the gymnasiums and they can be recording.
So they could interview someone in the polling place.
They can't interview anybody in the polling place, because that would be, you know, conversational. But they certainly could going in and coming out, as long as they weren't interfering with anybody entering.
And they've asked me to, like, they've come in and said, can we film? And I've said, you just can't film people's faces. You could do their legs, their feet, you know, or do a shot from far away.
Right,
Right, so that you can't identify voters.
right.
So
I
from the
mean,
entrance.
and it's not so much identify voters because it's a public process and anybody could identify voters. It's more that you don't ever get close enough to see a ballot or see somebody voting. You know, the carousels are such that, you know, I guess somebody with a really zoomed in lens could zoom in and see that. So it's avoiding that.
Questions on press at the polls? Let's move on to 7D, political signs.
So political signs, this is just actually it's not necessarily the BCA thing, but it's come up. So I wanted to just put it out there that DPW is responsible for the right-of-way signage. People are allowed to put political signs up to 2 weeks before the election. They are required to take them down, but sometimes they don't. So DPW does go around and take them down. And they will pull them if it's ahead of that 2 weeks. So if somebody puts stuff out 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And then we had an issue with a candidate who the Gamlin part or candidate who has some unsanctioned signs all through Chittenden County, I think, that don't have a financial disclosure piece on them. They weren't sanctioned by the campaign committee, and they're on utility poles and light fixtures. So they can't be. So they've been informed that they need to do their due diligence and go around and take them down, even though they didn't put them up, but it has their candidate name on it. So there's some conversation
Can we
of,
take them down? Can Public Works just take them down?
I think Public Works has a they have said that they have a responsibility for the yard signage. Whether or not they're gonna take on utility poles, I did not hear that they were doing that.
But the policy seemed broad enough to allow them to do that. Or actually to require them to do it.
So that was not a topic of conversation that has come up in Tom DePietro's absence, so, you know, something that, you know, I don't like to forecast in a negative way, but we have seen such an uptick in the amount of time and conversation and questions that people really want answers to and want run-throughs for, that I don't want any other department to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I don't want the
asking because
election to
actually
be
one of the
paralyzed.
candidates reached out to me about this.
Yeah,
And I wasn't sure of the policy, but it does say here, DPW shall, you know, respond to notifications, remove non-conforming signs.
that could be a full-time job. So that is, I think, again, is something like we might want to think about that.
Yeah, it does say.
It does say, and you certainly can talk about it tonight if you want to. I know. So anyway, I just put it in there as a conversation. It hasn't been anything that's been updated since, 2010. I don't know that it needs to be, but that's just making people aware.
The 2 weeks, the 2 weeks prior to the election, that's actually 2 weeks prior to the availability of people to vote on ballots, even
No.
at the clerk's
No,
office.
the election day.
Election day. because
Otherwise, that would be 45 days before an election.
didn't-
Been violated.
The state signs went up way before
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yep.
Nobody pulled any, I don't think.
I mean, I think the reality for our DPW, I don't want to speak for them, but my understanding in the past has been they'll pull them when they're mowing.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like, okay, it's not 2 weeks yet, let's go out and do our, 2 hours of roundup. I just don't think anyone is staffed for that, but,
But what-
I'm always cautious when there's a policy in place that we can't meet a standard of as a city.
City council did that with the TIF signs back in 2017. We put them out a week early.
Oh,
And they all
boy.
got collected, brought back to Public Works. We put them all back again.
Oh, dear me. So anyway, there doesn't need to be an action on it. It, maybe just a conversation point at some point.
Any other discussion on political science? Let's move on to 7E, politicking at the polling place. Nice, we have a policy for everything.
There are a lot of great policies. So again, just, is there anything that we need to refresh or renew? Essentially, this is just making sure that nobody is coming into the polling place representing a candidate or a vote positive for this issue or negative for this issue. Although we have run into but it's okay to wear slogans as long as the name of a candidate is not represented.
Holographic displays on the outside of the building.
I'm highly against.
I'm just reading the last part of unattended signs. At the middle school, people, put signs all the way up the path
And they can do that. It's on the other side of that driveway that they can't have unattended
Leaning up
signs.
against the wall.
Yeah, okay, I want to make sure.
The
that
outside
wasn't
wall of the
gonna change.
school.
Yeah.
And are you gonna have X's or, are you gonna use tape?
Yep.
To help
Yep.
people who can't figure out where they're supposed to stand?
Yeah, it really depends on whether we'll either do tape. Well, Orchard has a great setup, and I think Tuttle will have a great setup too, because we have the stanchions, so we'll use the stanchions. I don't believe we have any here, although maybe the library has some. So it'll be tape or like chalk lines.
Yeah.
But it'll be identified.
People were very confused in the last election about their new door. Everyone tried to go in the front door.
At Tuttle.
It was constantly, no, that's the door. That's the
Yep.
door. That's the door.
Yeah,
And honestly, but for the candidate standing out there, a lot of people would not have figured out how to get inside.
yeah.
We should almost move them so that they're more in front of that front door. That is a good idea.
I don't know what to say, except for we have been told by the school that that's the entrance that we're using. That is the pathway that we're using.
Yeah.
So I think it's just relearning, you go in this way, you come out that way. But we can include some more signage.
I think it's probably useful.
Are there new people at the school that that maybe might change back to the old way?
Well, the new superintendent has been here since the change has been made, so I don't know.
Orange traffic cones. but
Yeah.
it's-
So at the middle school, they're using the one on the left? Or
No,
the
you
one
go in on the
exit,
right.
Old exit
The
door.
old, the
is the
little
new door.
solid door is the entrance door, and everyone's confused about that.
Yeah.
Everyone was
Traffic
confused.
No,
cones that have signs on them
Okay.
pointing
Not
in
with the
that
lobby,
direction.
okay.
You exit through the lobby now.
Yeah.
So
They've
the
had
traffic
one
cones
round
have
of it
signs on them.
last
Clear.
March, so maybe they'll remember.
Yeah.
If people just walk right there.
Is there potentially a way for us to lock it from the outside and not lock from the inside?
With the exit door?
Yeah,
It was locked.
I think it was locked.
oh, they were trying to
just
open.
polling. And
I can't, how come I can't get in to vote?
Oh my.
even though all the signage is on the door and there were arrows, but we could do more.
Okay.
I think that's okay for the policy and politicking. Everything else all right with us?
Yep.
We'll move on to 7F, firearms.
Yep, and this is just the last one, the Secretary of State's office. This will be posted. It has been posted as well. And then there's a little graphic, unfortunately, of a gun with a no sign on it. But no guns at the polling places, so those are required to be posted. Just keeping everybody up to speed there.
Any questions on that?
So, somebody had a sidearm holster in the parking lot, were walking towards the polling place. Once they reach the little road in front of the school, then that would be a violation, right?
I think it's once they cross the threshold of the door,
Oh, the door, oh, in,
like
So
the
that's your
polling
job as
place.
the presiding officer.
Or on the walks leading to the building in which it.
That's why you get the big bucks.
Well, right, so I guess,
You'd ask
the
them to put it
roadway.
back in their car glove compartment like they should have it.
Yeah,
So we would call SBPD in that
I mean,
case.
I would just remind them that there's not any weapons allowed in the polling
Of course,
location.
approach them.
And if
carefully.
there were a situation, you would call the South Burlington Police. Yes.
But don't try and necessarily
Oh, wrestle
push
the
the
gun,
ad
right?
ourselves.
That's your job.
They can go through, step and call the police. and-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But they could have a gun rack in their pickup and the rifle could be in there in the parking lot. It's okay. Yep, all right.
yep.
Any other questions on firearms? Let's move on to number 8, review current absentee ballot issuance and return rates.
Okay, so for the local, we have issued 1,234. We have had 662 returned, so we have an outstanding 572. Yep.
There's-
Okay, and Chris just put some in too. You gave it to Sally and she put
put them
them
in the ballot box.
For the primary, we have issued 1,315. We have gotten 694 returned and so still have 621 outstanding. So I
So
just,
Are you pre-process?
I mean, my recommendation is that we don't have to pre-process, but it's totally up to the BCA what you want to do. It just, I think there's gonna be enough people at the polls that will be able to open and just dump the yellows right into like the R2D2, whatever that little box is, and then put the others through the tabulator.
And we're here as the BCA tonight. Is there an overwhelming feeling that we should pre-process? Otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday. Okay? I'm not hearing an overwhelming feeling to pre-process.
Holly, what's the return again so far?
So we have 694 for primary, 662 for local. That we have in our hot little hands checked in.
And that's divided between 5 districts.
That's
So-
between all 5 districts.
Sounds reasonable to do.
Does that mean that some people just didn't return the yellow one at all?
Some people didn't even want the yellow one, or some people didn't want the primary.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's why it's not an even number. Yeah.
I say the yellow one, the local. So scientific.
So we just raced through item 9, the discussion of early pre-processing, deciding that we didn't need to early pre-process.
Yes.
And we're on to item 10.
I just have a couple other little things.
Okay.
Sorry, I know we're,
That should be
Okay.
number 10, other business, right?
yeah.
And then adjourn.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would work well. So maybe we could just switch those.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that the food shelf is gonna be doing a cereal drive at each of the locations. So it won't be in the polling location, it'll be, outside on the way in. But there are 2, just for full transparency, 2 people that are part of the food shelf that have candidate last names. So Emily Krasnow is on the board and so is Fritz Burkhart. So I have said you cannot put your candidate names out there, like please have somebody else post on social media. If you want to repost, like that's fine, but don't have sponsored by, it's a food shelf something. And I've asked that they not be there receiving those at the polls.
So they're gonna come the day before to set up with Holly and I when we go and check the polls the day before. So they won't be there the morning and then they'll come after the polls close to pick everything up.
So
Yes.
just alerting everybody that that's that how you
Very
understood it?
successful in Winooski,
Yeah.
so,
Williston, I think.
or Williston,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you.
May I join the school board to improve my candidacy too?
Any questions about that?
Culture shock. Frankenberry.
So then we are ready to adjourn and then
I have a question
Go
and I
ahead.
may have missed it. I was one of the confused people as to what time we were starting. Did you cover, do you want to identify, or doesn't matter if there is a need for sick ballot delivery on Monday?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Ann. Sure, if
Thank
we
you.
wanna just kind of put 2 people, I'll call you afternoon if we have any. I know right now we don't, but that doesn't mean that something's not gonna change. So if we have 2 people that, want to be flexible and I can just shoot you an email. We don't need you or we need you. Okay, Linda? Anne, were you volunteering or were you just saying, hey, we should talk about that?
I was saying, hey, we should talk about that.
Okay.
But I'm fine. I guess you can add.
Okay, so, okay. All right, so I've got Linda, Ann, and Chris. I will shoot you a text message by noon
That will get.
on Monday.
Quicker than an email.
How about that?
What are those two people gonna do again?
If there's anybody that is requesting a ballot delivery
Oh, okay.
because they're,
Yeah,
know, in the hospital or can't get out of their home.
Okay.
And it doesn't always work out. I think Andrew and I went one time, and waited around for almost an hour and the person was in-house appointment and, seeing,
Oh.
getting some procedures. So,
Oh,
it's
jeez.
a very ornery person. Did we get one too? Take them all off.
That's
All right, so I'll need a motion to adjourn, then we're gonna go on to tabulator testing, but we will let those online go about their day. Thank you, Andrew. Second.
Sure.
Thank you, Ann. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We will see you
Thank you so much.
next
Thanks,
time.
everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Matthew. Thank
Matthew.
you, Sue.